There's no question that millions of Americans are concerned about their finances, and according to a new report from Acorns, for many Americans, the situation seems dire. According to their 2024 Money Matters report, nearly 25% of Americans are worried they may experience some level of homelessness. To help us dive into some of the numbers from this report is Noah Kerner, Acorns CEO. Noah, great to have you here with us. I mean, I'm just kind of flabbergasted at the amount of people that believe that they may go homeless because of their financial situation. I mean, what's playing into this as the data is telling you from the survey?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, by the way. I'm not very surprised. I think we're in a time where savings is not really promoted. And what is promoted is spending, trading, borrowing, all these kinds of culprits that get people into trouble, that get everyday consumers into trouble. And obviously the American system is constructed around growth, and spending. So the question is, how do you get people saving? Because that's really what people, especially everyday people, need to be doing a lot more of. And that's what we focus on at Acorn. So when we did this study, to find out, not just that 1/4 of Americans are scared that their current financial situation could land them in homelessness. 1/3 of young people are scared that their current financial situation could land them in homelessness. And I think while you have issues like cost of living, inflation, debt, undergirding all of that, what you have is lack of savings, lack of safety net. And that's really what Acorns was constructed to do, to help people save and invest for the long term, not to help people trade, to put people into diversified portfolios of ETFs, stick with it over the long term, and save and invest even just the smallest amount of spare change that you can afford. And if you do that every day and you stay committed and you stay disciplined, then over the long term, it will pay off and people will be in a situation where they're not having this kind of anxiety.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of our parents out there probably told us when we were growing up, hey, be happy with what you have, or hey, we have food at home. Those were some of the small savings reminders. But what is the biggest mindset shift that people can make right now in order to promote savings on a personal level that can help alleviate some of their financial stresses?
Just get started right away. Don't wait. I mean, inertia is probably the biggest problem among all these other issues, but the inertia, in society where people just don't take that step to take control now. So I would say, if you're sitting around thinking about this, or if you feel like you're not in a great position with your money, just take that step now and start saving as much as you can and investing as much as you can every day. And that will not only change your functional life, it will change your emotional mindset. And this is one of the things that we study a lot at Acorns. We don't just focus on the products, we also focus on the emotions and the anxieties, and what often amounts to lack of hope and a feeling that you don't have peace of mind because you don't have that money there for you when you need it.
Yeah, it's interesting while we have you, the just financial considerations among different generations and how they're making sure that they're managing that. I mean, they're all in very different stages. Millennials, for instance, are essentially in some of their or entering into the peak earnings years. Some of them, at least on the geriatric millennial scale, might already be in those peak earnings years. You've got boomers who are trying to figure out, okay, the retirement, if we're in it, if we're getting towards it, how do we make sure that we have enough? And then you've got the Gen Zers who are just doing really good at entering in the workplace and roasting millennials at the same time. All of these things considered, who is doing the best on a relative basis?
That's a great question. I don't know that anybody's doing the best on a relative basis right now. I would say that the best thing you can do if you're a parent, the best thing you can do for your kids is to start investing in them immediately. Obviously, if you start at birth, right? $5 a day invested at birth all the way through retirement at an 8% compound rate becomes over $4 million. And if you're 18 and you do the same thing, you have over $1 million at retirement. So I think these are the things that have to start happening. I mean, when you look at people in their 50s and 60s, I think the average amount that people have saved for retirement is something close to $100,000 for everyday people in America right now. And obviously that is just not, that doesn't work. Yeah. So I'm not sure there's any group that's doing better than others. I will say, when we look at the data, and again, not to promote Acorns too much, but when we look at the data sliced by how Acorns customers feel versus how the rest of the population feels, we have a 10% lift in people's sense of security and people's sense of financial well-being that happens from using the product. I think that comes from a combination of taking control, starting to invest, save and invest small amounts of money, making sure you have emergency savings, and also getting smarter because with Acorns, you're learning every day about how to be more thoughtful with your money.
All right. Always be selling, Noah. Don't ever let anyone fault you for that. Noah Kerner, Acorns CEO. We appreciate the time, Noah. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Thank you. Take
Save
care.